because the window of tolerance of your nervous system cannot tolerate the sitting down and being quiet. So that's why so many people, like you say, I can't meditate. That's because they're not regulated first. So their body, it feels uncomfortable in that situation. And when you try to sort of force it, you're shutting down the parts of your body, the uncomfortableness, you're shutting that down. You're suppressing the trauma that's already trapped in your body.
Thank you so much, Tilley, for being back. I can't believe it's been 2 years since we've chatted on the show, but I love to know where you are now. What have you been up to these last 2 years?
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Caroline. It's so great to be back and to be talking to you again. I'm still practicing as a coach, trauma informed, very much done a lot of work on the trauma side, the connection of the mind and the body. I continue to do certifications within my coaching practice, but I'm just absolutely loving it, being of service out there in the community. Mostly I work with professional parents and help them navigate through their relationship to work and their relationship to their children and how they can grow from that. So that's really my niche. And I have also been doing a lot of summits. I really enjoy doing summits. It's an opportunity to talk to a larger audience at once. And organically, my shift has gone, and the summit world has moved over more from the mindset sort of parenting realm into more of the somatic. So your health, your body, what happens with your body. And I'm just fascinated by how we store everything in our body and how true healing only comes through that. So those are my summits that I've been attending, and it's been a lot of fun. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, thanks for coming back. And I love how so much has evolved since as well, because it went from the mindset, and you've always really been about somatic aspects of our bodies, but really moving into that health. What inspired you to I know you said it was very organic, but what was that pivot to really now focus more on the health piece?
Well, I just noticed that with myself and with my clients, that anytime you don't connect and you're not doing work in the body, healing your body, the mindset aspect and a lot of the other modalities out there, even meditation, which has breath work, all of which have saved my life and have been very instrumental with my organic growth as well as with my clients. If you don't start with the nervous system and regulating the nervous system, it's a temporary fix. So I noticed myself and with my clients that there would be a lot of healing, and then about a year later, all these symptoms would reoccur and start coming up again. So that was the beginning of my research and experience into learning about somatic practices. And since then, I've grown, I'm obviously have way more certifications and way more knowledgeable, but really just the nervous system resetting and starting at the base level before you can progress to learning even something as simple as meditation. Before you start meditation, if you don't have the tools to regulate your nervous system, you're going to try to force yourself in the state that you are to meditate and to quiet down. And there's stuff in your body that wants to come out. And so you're shutting that down, which actually makes it worse. So the importance of the nervous system regulation and starting with just simple basics is so profound and so important that that's sort of what led me into the health rides. And then it sort of leads into, and I'm not a nutritionist or any type of, I'm not along those lines, but the two go hand in hand, right? And doctors who really focus on the body and how to heal the body in connection with the mind. So starting with the symptoms and why we're having symptoms and how do we address those symptoms? Where are they coming from? And how do we heal those? And then it connects. Obviously, we are very high brain humans, so we have to understand the logic behind it too, but we can't ignore the body and the healing of the body with the brain.
It's such a good point you brought up, because I know so many people with meditation in particular, where they try to meditate, they're trying to shut down and be focused, but they're not regulated yet, so they can't. And it's just like you explained it so perfectly. I'm like, oh, because I have so many friends like that, and past clients when I was a therapist too, that were like, I can't meditate, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But it starts from that like regulation stage and just being like that foundational piece.
Yes, because the window of tolerance of your nervous system cannot tolerate the sitting down and being quiet. So that's why so many people, like you say, I can't meditate. That's because they're not regulated first. So their body, it feels uncomfortable in that situation. And when you try to sort of force it, you're shutting down the parts of your body, the uncomfortableness, you're shutting that down. You're suppressing the trauma that's already trapped in your body. So, and I am an advocate for, I want to really stress for meditation. I really am. It changed my entire life. But if you don't do it the right way and the right sequence, it can lead to a lot of harm, or it'll just never work. Like it'll just, all you're saying, it'll never solve anything. Everything will come right back again.
Yeah. Wow. My mind's blown right now. I'm like, yeah, that makes so much sense. And because I know you've taken a lot of courses, you're involved in so many summits, speaking, giving knowledge to so many other people. What have you learned in these last 2 years just about yourself, but also as you've grown in developing your skill sets?
Well, it's interesting that we're having this conversation because I have had a very, what I would call interesting or challenging year myself personally, and two aspects of my life. One is financial, where I've had some financial hiccups unexpectedly come up. And the other aspect is with my daughter. I have a teenage daughter, 14-year-old, and she has had some mental health issues. Now, part of getting to where I am as a coach started with her having anxiety issues many years ago before COVID, prior to COVID, that really escalated my coaching learnings and certifications because I now had to learn how to deal with that. And it's come back again with her in a different way, totally different form, totally different way. So what I've learned is that even though you may, as a human, have all the trainings, I mean, I'm a certified conscious parenting coach, I'm a certified trauma coach, even though I have all the trainings, it doesn't prevent yourself or the people close to you, in this case, my daughter, from actually exhibiting symptoms that I treat, that I help my clients with. So you would think that, oh, because I'm a conscious parent and I'm bringing her up consciously, that she won't have any anxiety, have any depression. That's not the case at all. Every human has their own path. And so for me, the lesson I've had to learn is, because I'm experienced in this and I'm bringing her up consciously, I'm not immune to any issues that anyone else can have. She isn't immune to anything. This is her path. All I can do is help myself get through it, learn from myself. And in that way, I'm going to help her. Same on the financial side this year. So I've always been very business proficient, and I still am, but stuff can come up that you don't even think would ever happen, honestly. And it's out of the blue. And so you're not immune to it, right? I mean, I've really been good always with finances. You're not immune to financial strife and financial struggles. No matter where you are or what your profession is or what your skill set is, everything that other people experience, I am not immune to that. And it is obviously a huge growth opportunity for me. And it's okay for me to sit here and talk to you about it, Dr. Caroline, because I'm sort of out like the lights at the end of the tunnel. But when you're in it, it's really hard. Like it shook me to the core. Like, how did I get here? How have I co-created her situation? How have I co-created the financial situation, and what can I learn from it, and how do I get out of it? It's easier said than done. So, it's been very humbling for me and sort of a refresher for me to understand where my clients are coming from, because I have just gone through the thick of it again, and no one's immune to it, right? I feel like, we learn certain lessons in life and then the universe will bring it around to you in a different way. Okay, now you need to learn about this. How do you deal with this? So you have to be open to learning from these lessons. And at the end of the day, surrender. You just got to surrender. Like, this is where I am. And once I let go of trying to control it and trying to fix it and surrender it, that's the only way that you heal. It doesn't mean you don't take action and you don't do steps, but you have to understand you're not immune to anything, and to accept where you are and just make the best of the situation and how to learn from it versus trying to control it. Big thing for me. That control thing, I'm a recovered control freak, came right back again, right? It's like what have I done? Like it came right back again. So it's been really interesting surrendering to my situation and being able to step back and look at it from afar and work through it. Same with my daughter. I can't control her. I can't fix her. I can't change her. I can just change myself, work on myself, and in that way be the support that she needs to be able to go through this. This is her process, and she has to go through this process. And my job is just to be as much of a support as I can for her, but I cannot fix or change her or make it go away. That's her path.
Absolutely. Oh, you said so much there, like juiciness and richness. Because I do think it's learning through it and understanding that we're not immune to everything. Even if we have all the certifications, degrees, everything, we still might experience something like you've experienced as well. And because it is your daughter's journey, it is the other things that financially are out of our control sometimes that happen, even in our business, even in our lives. And I love that you brought up the both personal and professional aspects, because things do happen in life. We can't control everything, and releasing and surrendering. And I'm curious, because I know you're now getting to the light at the end of the tunnel. What were some of the things that you had to do for yourself outside of letting go and surrendering that allowed you to continue moving forward? Today's episode is sponsored by the Start Here Conference.
Hey there, fabulous folks. Welcome to the Start Here Conference, where the fun begins and success stories unfold.
Yep, you heard it right. We're here to kickstart your journey with a big dose of energy and a sprinkle of magic.
Picture this, a place where inspiration flows, connections bloom, and dreams take flight.
At Start Here, we're all about keeping it real and having a blast while doing it.
No stuffy suits or boring speeches here, just good vibes and endless possibilities.
So whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just dipping your toes in the water, there's something here for everyone.
From incredible breakout sessions to a dance party that'll have you jumping out your seats and showing us your best moves, this event will have it all.
And hey, did we mention the food? Delicious bites and refreshing drinks to keep you fueled up and ready to conquer the world.
So what are you waiting for? Grab your ticket, bring your sparkle, let's make some magic happen at the Start Here Conference.
And now back to the show.
Really, a lot of that question, a lot of it was going back to the basics. So how do I, and it's something as simple as I sort of really got into the circadian rhythm. So going outside first thing in the morning without looking at your phone, right? Going out in nature, exercising more. And I don't mean going to the gym, even if it's just, every 25 minutes, I like to get up and shake my body, so simple self-care things that once you're in sort of a rut, and I've always meditated and I've always done breath work and I've continued to do that, but you have to really go back to looking at it from the self-care aspect and not just as something that you do every day. And so that you nurture your body and you nurture your soul, and so that you are able to be present when these things come up. So, and if I wasn't grounded, if I didn't do my grounding, if I didn't do my nervous system resetting, if I didn't do my orientation and resourcing, I wasn't available to be there for my daughter when she needed me. And some days she doesn't need me at all, but it's when something happens to her or there's a little crisis or someone says something that sets her off. I need to be the most grounded that I can and the most connected to myself in order to be there for her. So going back to basics, that's really what I had to do. I had to literally start from afresh, going back to basics. I had to start setting time to meditate. I had to do my breath work again. I had to do all of my, some of the courses that I've done in the past, I redid them all, right? The courses where I learned how to regulate your nervous system. Even though I'm teaching my clients how to do this on an ongoing basis, I had sort of stepped out of that somewhat. And I'm not saying that's why I'm in this crisis, because I had, but going back to those basic tools was a way and is a way for me to be able to get through the situation. So we're never past those basic tools, right? We're never past self-care, learning, regulation. We have to do it on a continuous basis. You can't let that go. So that was a big lesson for me to learn. And it was quite refreshing. I actually loved it. I had sort of stepped away from it. It had just, I thought, well, I do breath work and I do sort of do it, but I wasn't really focusing on it. I wasn't paying attention to the resourcing. I wasn't paying enough attention to it to really bring myself back down into my body and focus on it. I had stopped asking myself, well, how does it feel in my body? Like I had just, I sort of thought, you sort of get into a rut, the answers to things, what you should be doing. But I had sort of just stopped, like, sit here. Okay, so how does your body feel right now? Or if something happens, even just simple things like, what shall I eat? Well, what does your body feel like? Are you full? Like, how does it feel in your body? Just reconnecting to the basics was imperative. And I had sort of not neglected, but life goes on and you just stop focusing on certain things. I had to go back and refocus to the simpler and things that I started to learn right in the beginning of my whole career.
Such a powerful lesson, because I think that can apply to everybody. I just had this conversation the other day with somebody about just having like systems and processes in place for your business, but it's the same concept with just the basics that you do on a regular basis that you might take for granted or think, well, I got this, or I can continue to do this. And I notice when I don't go to yoga or I'm not meditating, my mood shifts. Evan's like,
Yes.
oh, Caroline, did you go to yoga today? No, I didn't. But it's those obvious things that are obvious, but when we stop doing it, that daily practice, it can really shift so much of our energy.
And it's the attitude. So yes, I can't wait in the morning. I make myself a latte. Now it's a coffee alternative because the caffeine and me are not best friends. But I love that moment so much. And I just used to move through it and take it for granted. I'd get my latte, I'd sit down and start working. It's just something as simple as just really sitting there and enjoying my latte, right? I'm in present moment with this right of what I do every morning. And I just love it so much and really appreciating that. And then you're settling your body, you're settling your nervous system, you're resourcing to something that makes you feel good. And that just changes the trajectory of your whole day versus me just plopping it down next to my computer, drinking it and still enjoying it, but working away, right? So there's just little subtle shifts like that you have to really go back and focus on.
Yeah, no, I love that you're saying this, because I do believe it's those small tweaks that really make such a difference in our lives. We don't even really notice it, but just even being outside and like having the sun hit your face, you just
Yes.
feel that difference. Or getting up and shaking it off, like the movement aspect of it doesn't have to be exercise, but just moving our bodies and being in tune with it, that connection piece.
Yes. 100%. Absolutely.
Oh, such valuable lessons. It's like we need these reminders. I know I do. Like you're talking to me right now.
And then if you don't do it, the universe will slap it in your face and make you learn it. So, it comes around and it's all just about growing and just, this is where I am right now. And these are the lessons I need to learn right now. And, what's my co-creation in it and how can I move through this in the best way that I know how? And so, I go to a coach, I have a therapist. I also reach out, right? It's important that we reach out when we need it. So that's another big thing that has helped me through this is my support system. And I'm very grateful for that. It's super important.
It really is. And I think just to like highlight that community, being able to know who can I reach out to, who's going to be there to support me, whether it's great news, bad news, whatever it may be. I just went through this too. And it's really seeing those individuals that are in your corner cheering you on, but also holding your hand and it's like, you got this, I'm here for you. And I love that you had that support and still have that support, of course, but community is so powerful and really leaning on it and asking for help. It makes you so strong when we're vulnerable and ask for the help.
Yes. And the word community for me is interesting because when I hear community, I think of like a large group or, a lot of like-minded individuals. But I am not a crowd person. I don't like to belong to big groups. It works for some people, but it doesn't work for me. I'm very much an individualized person. So just like you said, that support system doesn't have to come from a lot of people or a big crowd, or you don't have to join some like-minded Facebook group, or, you don't have to be in person, go and meditate in person. My support group is very limited to maybe 5 people. But I can call them up at any time. I can talk to them at any time. They're my support. And that's all you really need. You only really need one person, actually, to have that support that you need. So I like to bring that up because there's a lot of people that don't want to go out and they're not comfortable with big crowds. They're not comfortable to talking to strangers, even though those strangers may have the same sort of, feelings or going through the same thing as them. But all you need is one or two people that you can actually talk to, and that's your support. Even if it's the same person, even if they get sick and tired. I know I have a friend who I call constantly. She lives in Poland, and I call her all the time, but she's always there for me. So it's that support, right? That you have that support. It doesn't have to be some massive big community where you live or online community.
Yeah.
You just have to have some people in your corner.
Yes, I love that you clarified that because I'm very similar to you. I don't like big crowds, but like when I think of community, I'm just like, okay, my little village, that's
Yeah.
what I think of. But you're right, a lot of people might associate community with large groups, and recognizing at the end of the day, you just need one or two people that are there for you, that
Yeah.
you can call at any time. They're going to pick up. If they don't
Yep.
pick up right away, they'll call you back. But knowing that those people are there thick and thin and good and bad times
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
I love
Exactly.
that. Well, on another note, I know there's been a lot of things happening since I last spoke with you, but is there anything coming up or anything in the midst of working on that you want to share right now?
Yes, I am in the midst of creating an online course, two different versions, a very simplified course starting with resetting your nervous system, and then a more intense course, which incorporates the entire body and mind. But I'm also focusing just with my clients, one-on-ones. So that's sort of the direction I'm going in, and I'm just going with the flow. I love my one-on-one sessions with my clients. I feel like the personalization is amazing, but I know there's also a lot of healing that you can get out of group work. So that's why I'm starting to focus on building more outside of the summits, building actual courses that I oversee and operate myself instead of being as part of other people's courses and summits. So those are things that I'm looking forward to in the future in terms of my career and my growth.
I love that. And I feel like because there's so much knowledge you have to offer. So I know these
Thank
courses are going
you.
to be amazing, and just everything you're doing to really just embody what you preach as well, everything that you have gone through, and just knowing that no matter where you're at in life, things are going to get thrown at you, and how you handle it. It's how do you get back up? When you do fall down, how do you get back up? And
Yes.
knowing that we all matter, no matter what the situation is, having that support, having the courage to ask for help when we need it, but also continuing forward no matter what, and knowing that what we're doing and taking those steps, we're doing it in good faith, in pure love, and just that constant growing and evolving, because you have evolved so much since we last spoke and will continue. And I can't wait to see what the next 2 years bring for you as
Thank
well.
you, Dr. Caroline. I can't wait either.
Yes.
I always love these chats.
Same. Well, thank you so much, Tilley, for taking the time to come back, chat with us, and show us where you're at as well. And I can't wait to see what it transpires from here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, make sure to like, subscribe, comment below what was the biggest takeaway from Tilley today. I'm sure she would love to see that comment, and we'll see you on the next episode.